Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Ukraine has a lot of boxers, probably the more well-known, the Klitschko brothers, and then Usyk, Lomachenko. But there's another boxer out there who's been making a name in the sport, but living in the States for like the past 5 or 6 years, named Serhii Bohachuk. And he returns to the ring on November 3rd to fight in California. He's 2-0 as a pro. But he has a pretty interesting story, just like Usyk, just like Lomachenko, being a professional boxer and trying to come over here, have a successful career, and make money, support his family, and fulfill his dreams. But he did an interview where he was talking about kind of what he went through, what his family went through in Ukraine, where his mother comes and tells him that they're at war. He tells her, quit joking. His mother's all emotional. Then he goes, he finally wakes up because he thinks that she's playing around. And he gets on the internet and he sees all the different posts about Russia invading Ukraine. Still can't believe it. And finally, when he saw the reaction of people in his community, he just became upset and enraged and confused. And he immediately felt that now with the Russians invading his country, that he had to weigh his options. And he was thinking, do I do like what any patriotic person would do in this case and join the Ukrainian army? And he felt like if he was to do that, he wouldn't be able to continue boxing. And that's an extremely tough decision. It's one thing for guys to, finish school, and in some countries, there's a mandatory 2 to 4 year commitment once you graduate school, whatever, however that is in your country, right? Then they immediately go off into the military. After they fulfill that commitment, then they're fine, okay? But in some other countries, they don't have that. Here in the United States, there's no mandatory commitment, but a lot of people after high school who don't want to go to college or are spinning their wheels, a lot of people go off into the military. But I couldn't imagine, I went in, okay? But I couldn't imagine waking up one day and feeling like I have to join a branch of the military service to go defend my country because we're being invaded. And everything that, all my dreams and everything, I have to set that aside because no kidding, you're in a life or death situation and you have to defend your country tooth and nail. And that's what this young man had to do, man. And he said he felt conflicted because the situation was, and for those of you out there who, even if you haven't been following the war, you just kind of getting, bits and pieces of what's been going on. It's been very, very, very bad. Very bad. So he decided he was going to join the army, the Ukrainian army, but his friends and everyone advised against it and told him, nah, don't do it. It's kind of like what you saw with Usyk and Lomachenko. They went back, they joined the army. They were fighting. But their friends, their comrades, and everyone told them, no, you guys are fighters, a different type of fighter. There's no need to join the army. Don't come out here. Go back into the gym, fight, win, parade the Ukrainian flag all around the world. And that's what they did. And for Serhii Bohachuk, right, it was very difficult for him because his brother had joined the army and went off to fight for Ukraine. But his brother was pivotal in him choosing to continue his career and going back to the States, where he's been living since 2017, and just going to try to win a championship. Now, this is the thing, man. Could you imagine growing up with your brother? You guys are close, you do everything together, and now you guys come to a road, the road forks, and your brother goes one route, and you try to go there, then he stops and says, no, you go the other route. The road forks, I'm going left, you go right. You going right, although you want to fight with us in the Ukrainian war, you can do more good by going out there and winning your boxing matches, get a championship, and parade the Ukrainian flag all around the world and try to promote peace. And that's what he did. So now he's back, he's training. And in order for him to get out of Ukraine, he had to go from Ukraine through Poland to get to Los Angeles. And that's where he's at right now training. And he's going to be fighting on the UFC Fight Pass from the quiet Cannon Country Club in Montebello, California. And, you know, it's a different type of passion, different type of hunger. It's a different type of motivation fueling a guy like that, man. It's not even a matter of, okay, I get up in the morning and I have to train. When I get to the gym, I have to jump rope. When I get to the gym, I have to hit mitts. When I get to the gym, I have to spar. Okay, now I got to do it again. Nah, it's wanting to get up, wanting to train, wanting to jump rope, wanting to hit mitts, wanting to shadow box, wanting to spar, wanting to do strength and conditioning, wanting to make sure that you're following your nutrition plan to maintain your diet and make weight. It's a different motivation. And when you have somebody who's fighting for something like what he's fighting for and what he's representing, you know, it's hard to beat a guy like that. Or a person, all right? It's, you know, man, male or female. It is extremely hard to beat him. So I think for him, he's in a good situation because he can box at peace, knowing he has support from his fellow countrymen and his family. But at the same time, it's got to be a little pocket somewhere in his mind where there's got to be a whole lot of concern about what's going on. You know, it has to be. But he said his concentration is 90% on boxing and 10% for the war. And he says he needs to go into the fight and win and fight. And then after that, he'll be, focusing more on his family in Ukraine. But he has to stay here. He has to fight and needs to win, show support for his people, support for the army. And he said he's got motivation from seeing Usyk defeat Anthony Joshua, and also for what we saw this week with Lomachenko in a tough fight. And so he's hoping to just carry the torch like his fellow Ukrainians, because he feels like they're all winners, and Ukraine deserves to have these guys go out here and put on their best performance. But that being said, man, that's an update on Serhii Bohachuk. You know, I'm covering this name because a lot of times you get these fighters who have 1, 2, 3, 4 fights. Nobody talks about them unless they're 3, 4 fights in. They're doing something super spectacular. But with a guy like this, I think he deserves to be recognized the same way Lomachenko and Usyk. I'm not saying other people don't go through challenges in life, tough circumstances, but there's a kind of uniqueness to coming out of an environment where there's war and missiles and shit and war crimes happening, okay? And to come out of that and to know your family is still there, subject to that, okay? That's a little different. So I just want to take time to do a little 8 to 10 minute video on him for those fans he has out there, and also for himself to go out there and look and see that he is being covered by somebody. I think at a minimum, anyone who's subject to the kind of adversity and really extreme circumstances that him and his family, at least we can do is drop a little 10-minute video on him. But that being said, man, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, people from all 7 continents. And as always, I'm in the breeze.